Hey everyone, on today's episode we process some lambs. I explain how I tag all of my mature ewes. I do the usual dance, testing the ewe's milk. Blow the snow off of my feed mixer from leaving it out overnight. Unroll and explain a little bit of some alfalfa silage. Of course, there's a lamb where there's not supposed to be a lamb. We pull a lot of lambs. Did I mention we pull some lambs? We pull a few more lambs. And we finish it off by pulling a few lambs. Of course, we set a new pen up to get ready for the next group of lambing. We turn some lambs outside. I hope you enjoy. Good morning, everyone. Winter is back, so the biggest concern right now is just making sure the lambs outside are doing okay. On the first day, the temperature starts to drop. You usually don't have sick lambs. It's 3 or 4 days later when it starts warming up again. That's when scours become an issue. But I know for sure I've got a very full barn today, and it's going to be a pretty wild day ahead. It's also important to make sure that the ewes that are outside that are really close to lambing aren't going to start dropping lambs. I'm going to have to watch them really closely and put straw everywhere. Just trying to keep things bedded and warm. It's supposed to be minus 25 tonight, I think, so that's going to be pretty cold. The sheep are okay, and the baby lambs that are outside, they're old enough and big enough, they got enough heat on them. I'm not too concerned. As long as the wind stays down, they can bear temperature pretty good. And with the good shelters that we have, even when the wind picks up, I'm pretty confident. Timmy's not really loving this weather either. I think it's safe to say the door is not sealing. Got one set of triplets, one set of twins on this side of the barn. This is exactly why I split them up. It's just easier to keep track of them in a smaller groups. But all the jugs are full, so I'm going to process some lambs and put them in the group pen. Oh wait. Wiggle. You're wiggling. Quit wiggling. So I've been asked before to explain why I tag sheep. I don't have an RFID tagger, and I don't keep track of things electronically. I keep it all on paper. Putting a number tag on each ewe is pretty important for me. Then I know who she is. The downside of that is sometimes they do lose their tags, and I'm probably going to get an RFID reader next year, and then in that case when they lose the tag I can just scan their RFID and I still know who they are. I find number tags just are an easier way of keeping track of them. I'm also not running 5,000 sheep, so with several hundred sheep you can put a lot of numbers on. I use these tags, they're called Allflex tags, and I just write the numbers on them. They have a good permanent paint marker, then you put them in the oven at 200 for about 10 minutes and that bakes them nice to perfection. I have about 10 ewe lambs that never got tagged this year. We just ran out of time going through the chutes. So a couple of them have lambed and I just tag them as I go. Every RFID tag does have an identification number on it, so I'll write down that number with the numbered tag so that I can keep track of her in the future. It's important to put the tag in the bottom half of the ear. There's a kind of a vein or a support in the ear right in the middle. Try and be on the lower half of that. If you put it in the upper half, more up here, then I find the tag spins around and you have a hard time reading it. So you keep it in the lower part, Don't want to put it too far in to damage the ear more, and you don't want it too far out because sometimes they do catch them and it rips out. If you put it further on the edge, it seems to give it more leverage to do that. So that's kind of where I've found the best spot to put them in is. Thank you for being a good sheep for this demonstration. We much appreciate it. Get. Here's an example of the tag being put too far up in the ear, so it flips over. If we're looking at her, I can't read what her tag number is. So that's why it's important to put it in the bottom half, you can read it. This is just a top tier ewe. She had triplets, they're all healthy, all up and sucking. She's got excellent milk. This is only her second lambing. If I could have 500 of this sheep, oh man. That's sheep like this are why people think there's money in sheep. And sheep like the one at the end that tried to kill both of her lambs are why people go broke in sheep. So I carry an old style phone with a keyboard on it. Not really a smartphone person. This does have internet, but I like that I can operate it with gloves on. So I go through and I write down the numbers I use from my paper book, and I just write them on my phone, and as I'm going through I mark a smiley face if things are looking good and an angry face if things are looking bad. And then I preferably know in the first 12 hours whether that ewe is going to be good or if we're going to have a problem. Well, of course it snowed last night. It's not good to leave a mixed mill sitting outside in the moisture, but my shed I can keep this in is down the road a ways, and the road was all road salt last night. So it's either let it get covered in road salt or let it get snowed on. So it's been cold all day, and it just finished snowing here about a half an hour ago. And the snow that's on it hasn't melted, it's just like powder. So I'm gonna blow it off, and then when the road dries a little bit, then I'll put it back in the shed. So I made sure and closed the mill here. It's not great, and I really hate leaving this thing out in the snow, but I hate road salt even more. I don't have any sheds here that I can fit this in. I borrow someone else's shed, but I got it cleaned off the best I can. It's staying cold, and so if it does warm up and melt, I will hook it up and run everything and grease it while it's running just to try and get moisture out of bearings and things. But the biggest issue is in the bottom of this tub here. If you leave feed in it and any moisture gets in there, then it rots and rusts, and it will rot through the whole thing. This mixed mill's in really good shape, and I'm trying my best to keep it there. It'd be nice if I had a big heated shop to park everything in, but I do not. So I'm opening 2 bales again. This one's green feed baleage, and this one's alfalfa baleage / silage. The big difference here in bale size is this one was made with a 4-foot McHale baler, and this one was made with the John Deere 569. John Deere balers are good if you like cotton candy and loose bales that don't actually weigh anything. Particularly marketed to cowboys and ranchers that live in the middle of nowhere without heavy crops. It's like most things John Deere makes, they're only purchased by the people who are brainwashed into... Nope. Not really a fan of John Deere balers, to be honest. I think they just bale cotton candy, and the bales are never tight enough, and no matter how tight you turn the density, it's just a disappointment. This is a good example of that. Being a 5-foot baler compared to a 4-foot bale, it's a foot taller, and the 4-foot bale significantly outweighs it. That is as tight as you can make a John Deere baler. But like most things with John Deere, they don't actually improve the baler each year that they announce a new one. They just add a couple frivolous things and jack the price up 20%, but the diehards will still buy it. Fortunately, I'm just a broke sheep farmer and I can't actually afford any farm equipment, so I'm lucky enough to have neighbors who have a variety of different things, and I get to try, and I get to find out what works and what doesn't. It's a lot colder out here than I thought it was. I think it's getting close to -20. And in that case, hydraulic oil starts getting cold. And so I bumped the total feed up about 10%, maybe 15% across the board with all nutrients when it gets cold, just to accommodate. The sheep are burning more energy trying to stay warm, and then the lambs are trying to stay warm, so they're also burning more energy, which puts a bigger load on the ewe. And you've got to keep ahead of that cycle. Here's an example of drastic temperature changes between the barn and outside. I don't like leaving the barn open when I'm feeding, but this is a good example of it. It's extreme humidity mixing with cold air. It just makes it a really tough environment for raising sheep. Wearing my mask all morning, but this ewe here has been struggling for about 20 minutes, not liking what I'm seeing, so I'm gonna reach in and give her a hand. So I can feel both feet, but they're big feet, which means big lamb. That's right, Mom. Keep pushing. One more push. One more push. There you go. Almost. There we go. Oh, come on. You were so close. She was pushing really good, and then we almost got the head out, and then she stopped. So I think she's a little bit tired. It's nice if they just lay down, just like that. Okay, let's get this lamb out of you. So I'm not pulling too hard, just working with her. Heads out. Here we go. Oh, big lamb. Hey, buddy. Hey. Hey. Good work, Mom. That's a huge lamb. I don't really like seeing that. It's hard on the ewe, and then it's another single. And she's not very big, so I would say that's the only one she's got. And that wasn't too hard of a pull, and it wasn't so hard that it's concerning. I think she would have got it. She almost had it on her own. But if they leave them too long, and by too long I mean she wasn't progressing at all over the past half hour, and so that's when I decided to interfere. And she made quite a mess of this pen, so I'm gonna go get some fresh straw. It's good to have the baby and mother born, everything's clean and dry. I'm just gonna go put some fresh straw down. When it's this cold, the hydraulic hoses are kind of stiff. day here. I've got my mask on, just going to the barn. The weatherman just said it's minus 31 today. And it's supposed to be a high +2, so I'm trying to take advantage of that and move some baby lambs out. The barn's just getting too backed up, and we've got some ewes down below that are gonna start having babies here any second. So we'll just see how the day goes. Joy's supposed to come out this afternoon. The last couple days, because it was so cold, I was keeping the airflow at a minimal, but I missed the mark last night, and I walked in the barn, you couldn't even see the back wall, there was so much steam in it, so I had to open up some other vents, but they're all iced over because it's so wet. Not much of a sunrise this morning, it's pretty cloudy out. This is that ewe that was prolapsing. I put her in a jug late last night. She just wasn't looking good, and I was starting to see signs of moisture. Clear that her water bag is broken this morning here. It's about 6 hours later, and that's really not a good sign because she should have lambed by now. So I've gloved up, put these longer gloves on there for preg checking cows. Then I don't get my hands all goopy, and it keeps the ewe clean. Put a rubber band on the end of my elbow, keep the glove up, and it's gonna be kind of gnarly. Put my mask on here. I think my allergies are starting to bother me from being in the barn too much, so we'll see what we can find. It's very pretzeled up in there. Feels like a lamb is coming out back first, so I'm trying to twist it around, but she's pushing on me hard. And I would say it's not going real well. So the first one came out backwards. That's not terribly uncommon with triplets. And then the second one, its head was folded right around, and I could not tell where his head was. I knew they were front feet, and I tried to get him out. You try and push. I made the mistake, and I pulled him too far. I should have pushed it back in as far as I could, tried to feel his head, and then pushed out. But she's been pushing a while, and she wasn't giving me any room. So the second one didn't make it, but the third one came out normal, and they're 3 good-sized lambs. She is going to be able to raise them, and then when we wean them, she's going to go, because she was prolapsing for 3 or 4 days before this, and it's just not good. I'm going to go put my coveralls in the wash, but I just happened to notice we got some more action going on here. I might need to pull that real quick. Kind of a crazy way to start the day. Oh, you got that one with feet showing and a water bag. And there's 2 others that have lambed in here already. I don't have any pens ready. Well, I was gonna go in and change. Pretty much covered in goopala, top to bottom here now. But there are too many ewes lambing. There are too many lambs. Got to make some pen space here. I got to get things bedded. It's getting too wet in here, so I guess we're sticking out here. These lambs just keep coming. 5 more in 2 hours. I just went in for lunch, I came back and there's 5 more, so. But we're officially about 170 out of 300 sheep on the ground. So this is my north outside pen. There's nothing in it right now. I will portion it off and put rams in it. Right now the rams are somewhere else. So the plan is when I fill the south pen with those nice fancy shelters, which is gonna happen later today, then I'll put the rest of the sheep that are with lambs out here. I don't have near as much outside space for these guys. They have this wooden shed, it's about 16 by 10, and then I have another wooden shed I'm gonna drag up this afternoon. And then I'm gonna bring those March sheep up so they're right next close to the barn, and the dogs are gonna be by themselves for a couple days. But the sheep that are down below, there's too many that are really close to lambing, and they just need to be brought up here. So I'm dragging this shed up to the north pen there, and because we're coming out of this lower pen, these dogs aren't allowed to roam free unless they're within the pen, and they'll just run out the gate. They won't go very far, but I'm a little bit concerned about every time they leave. I just don't want them running on the road or something like that. So I made sure and did this job after it snowed, and it's not too warm, so the snow's not too slippery. I'm gonna spin out, but it's not minus 20, so I'm gonna freeze to death. I'm just gonna drag this shed up there and put it into place. Just for the sake of keeping this shed together, I'm trying to be careful on where I'm pivoting it. And I used to bed straw here when I had sheep in the pen, so if I try to pivot it here, it could bind up, and then that's how you rip the skid out of it. It's just an old horse shelter. Usually there's an upright in the center of it. So we're just moving these guys out of the barn here. It's a little bit windier than I'd like it to be for this job. Just more of a shock to them, but we're running out of room in the barn and need them outside. Here, you grab that. Okay, yeah. These lambs are pretty big. These lambs are big enough for this. They can be outside a little bit sooner. Just keeping them out of the wind. The cold's not as big of a deal. Come on, guys. There you go. So we're just gonna move these ones up top now, and then if they do start lambing, they get closer to the barn. Come, sheep. I just try and get them kind of halfway where you want them to be, then the final move moves a lot better. See, look at the bag at this one here. Yeah, they're supposed to be due in a week, and I would say by the looks of things they're going to be sooner than that. Come sheep, this way, this way. Come sheep. All right, that's better. To get sheep that know where they're going, know what the program is, makes things go a lot better. I don't even have to lead them. They know what's up. See, I destroyed my feed bunk here. Nothing like some good quality lumber, but it was frozen to the ground and I couldn't see. Twist it back with the loader. I was peeling that top 2x8 off, but I'd rather have a 2x6 on there. I don't ever plan to wreck stuff, but whatever. I've talked a bit about that gap. That's a little too tall from the ground to the bottom of the shed. It's supposed to get a little bit windier, and with smaller lambs out here, I just like to close it up a bit. So Joey made a plank and we're gonna put that on now. Oh, sorry. Gotta go.
The other way, right?
No. Oh, I should probably give you the bolts. There's Willie.
Oh yeah, Billy.
He gets bullied now. It was really funny. They all gang up on him.
It's tight there.
Just the usual. Well, I'm sure you guys have seen enough of the rear end of a sheep, but it's about 11 o'clock now and I'm ready to go in for the night. But there's one ewe right here, but I put in around 5 o'clock. I saw her water bag drop, so I thought I'll just run her in the pen. And now here we are, 6 hours later. I just thought, hey, I should see how that ewe was doing, because everything was normal. No lambs, no signs of anything, nothing. She's not looking real settled. And I'm gonna just reach in and see what's going on. I don't have my big fancy gloves on right now, but I don't feel like walking across the yard back to the house either. So my hands are clean, I promise. Yep, something's going on for sure. I think I feel a knee. Not sure what I feel. What do you think I feel? Oh, I've pulled too many lambs today. It's actually my birthday today. Like I said, it's about 11 p.m. on my birthday. And I can tell you there is nothing I would rather be doing. Right, big mama? I have no idea what I feel. I try and identify where the knee is, and then you trace either if it's a front leg or a back leg. That gives you the orientation of the lamb, or sometimes you feel a front leg and a back leg, and that's not a good time. I got nothing here. So I'm just working around it, working with her. You can feel the birth canal and it kind of goes down. I have no idea what I'm holding on to though. Okay, I found some legs. I think I found front legs. If you're spinning things around like hooves and legs, okay, that's not good. I found back legs. You're spinning things around like hooves and legs. Try and leave the sharp points. Cover them with your hand if you can. You don't want to tear the insides of the U. Stop pushing just for a second, please. Yeah, good thing I didn't wash my coveralls this morning. This one's gonna be gnarly. Not get the second one spun around. Take a minute, girl. I know, it's tough. This is not what I wanted to be doing tonight either. I would like to be sleeping right now. Okie dokie, let's try this again. Alright, I got a leg. By the sounds of things, I got another sheep that's in labor. I got two legs. I got a front leg and I got a back leg. Alright, I have good news and I have bad news. Good news is I got the orientation right. Bad news is you're gonna have to push. Alright, let's give it 1, 2, 3. Come on. Come on, mama. Let's just pop that head right out. Come on. Come on, buddy. I know you're wanting to get going here. Oh, that's why. Yep. Cool. Okay, he's alive. That's good. That was a tough entrance to the world. That is not what you want to see. Let's get that second leg out. Backwards. But wait, there's more. Come on, buddy. Need you to both stay alive here. Come on. Come on. Oh. That springs, as she's pushing here, she's bringing the third one with her. Come on, push. His feet are caught. There we go. So if you can imagine inside right now, there's kind of her pelvis, and then through the narrow gap in her pelvis is where you start reaching into the, I guess you'd call it the womb. And so you want to make sure that everything's coming out in a way that it's going to clear the pelvis. The head's not tucked. You want both feet, so you don't have one foot forward, 1 foot backwards. Just trying to keep it as good as you can. And see, I've moved both lambs up with her, so she's alternating licking them, making sure that they're going. And I've arranged so the front foot was caught underneath the pelvis as it comes out. Here we go. Oh, you're the biggest one. Alright, and there is why you always do a final check before you go to bed. If I would have left her, I probably would have lost these lambs. Happy birthday, guys. You share the same birthday I do. That's a rewarding sight. You got 3 lambs, all alive. She's happy. And I don't feel any more in there either. I did check. That is one thing that's really cool about lambs, is they are willing to get up right after they're born. They get up and they get going, and they don't miss a beat. Well, it's been a really good day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Today was pretty varied. We had some busyness, some disgustingness. All in all, pretty successful day. Only lost that one lamb out of the triplets I pulled this morning. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm glad I can share what I do with you. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you tell your friends. I appreciate it.